most of the fish I've caught this year have been on this thing. I don't know what it is. It's got a sort of ginger body or brownish body with a ginger Greenwell type or furnace type hackle with a sort of black bit down the middle. It's taken some out, so I'm going to I'll tie a couple more of them. I don't know what it represents, but I suspect it's these flies that you find on sheep droppings and cattle droppings in the field alongside where I've been fishing are many sheep, and I suspect these dung flies are being blown onto the water. They've got that ginger look about them, but the fish have been coming up and just grabbing this with a vengeance, which is just as well because they haven't been taking anything else. Well, I've tied on these, which is a shrimp hook, size 12, just a partridge. I don't know whether you can still get them. I've had these for years. So just black thread, just tie it in at the Pearsall silk, tie it in at the eye, just catch it in there, bring it halfway down the hook. Just take off that little tag. So I just bring it back up to where I'm going to tie in the wing, which is just some of this polypropylene antron. I think I was tied in clink hammers, so I just bring it under the hook, bring the two pieces above, and just tie it off figure of 8 over the top, underneath, over the top, underneath, over the top. That'll do. And then just bring this down around the bend. To about there. I just want a rib just to strengthen I'm just using a bit of 3-pound mono for this. So I'll just bring it up under the hook and just tie it off. And then just pull it back. Just to bring that tip round. Now, I'm dubbing on some seals first, so just a little bit of dubbing wax just helps with that on the thread. And this is the fur, sort of brown or gingery coloured stuff. It's just got some little sort of flecks of a dye in there, so I just knock them out and just screw it up with my fingers just to break the fibres up. It just helps it to dub on better. Then I just want a thin spindle of this, so I'll just wispy little bits and just spin them on. spin them on in one direction, don't go backwards and forwards with it. Until you've got a nice tight thin spindle. A bit more. That'll do. So just bring it up to the hook. I just want to build up a nice tapered body. If it starts coming off the thread, just wind it back on again. Just take your time over it, just keep it nice and tight. Just build up a nice tapered body. Behind the wing. That doesn't look too bad, just take off that excess. I just need to bring the rib up the other way, the opposite way. You don't want too many turns of this. Try not to flatten down the fibres. Sort of wheel it through them. And just bring it up behind the wing, in front of the thread, and tie it off. Just cut off that excess piece. So I've just got 3 pieces of peacock herl there, with a decent flow on, doesn't want to be too sparse. And I just bring them up the front of the wing and just tie them in. Cut off the excess. And before I wind them on, just put a little twist in them. Just helps them stay together. It's just a figure of 8 again over the top. under to the back, over behind the eye, underneath, over the top, underneath to the back of the eye, over the top, underneath, and that should be enough. And then just turn it off. And just cut away the excess. That just makes for a nice little sparkly thorax. Now just bring the thread to the back of the eye, the back of the wing. Now when you're tying these parachute flies, you need a genetic hackle, because you need about 5 turns, so you need a good cape, a genetic cape unfortunately, because they are expensive. And then just choose a hackle to match the hook. So this is a nice ginger hackle, and it's got a black centre to it. Badger type hackle. Just take away the rubbish you don't want. That'll do us. And I want to tie this with the bright side of the feather pointing upwards. And it has to be tied in quite firm, because when you're winding the hackle on, you have to pull on it. And the last thing you want is this thing slipping out. So I'll put a couple of really tight turns behind the wing, bring it underneath in front of the wing, and again put 3 or 4 turns on there, and then just cut away the rubbish. Just make sure the wing is on the top before you start doing this. Now just grip the hackle, put the first turn on close to the hook, and every turn afterwards goes underneath the previous one, so the second one goes under the first, and the third one goes under the second. You have to pull on the hackle quite tightly to do this, but not so tight you snap it. And just bring it round until you think you've got enough turns on. Bear in mind it's a floating fly. That doesn't look too bad. Now, they always make this look easy, but pull these back and then just pinch the tip and tie off. And just remove the tip. Doesn't look too bad. And then whip finish. They always make this look easy. I always find it an absolute pig. One, two, three. That'll do us. Just tighten that down. There you are. you always end up with these awkward fibres you've trapped. Just snip them away around the eye, you don't want them on. And then a drop of thin varnish on there. You want it to soak in. So the varnish just soaks into the head. And then always put the lid back on your varnish jar. If you leave it, it'll just evaporate to nothing. Or even worse, you'll knock it over and it'll be all over the blooming place. So I just bring everything back into place. And all that remains is to trim off this wing. You don't trim it off too short. That little white wing there, clink hammer style, will enable you to see flies that's coming down the roof, which is, when your eyesight isn't very good, it's a real bonus. So there it is, and as I say, it works an absolute treat. Trim off anything that's in that hook bend there, but it doesn't want to be trimmed too much. It wants to be left slightly raggy. That looks about right. So there's a fish's eye view. Got that little sparkly thorax there. As I say, I think it represents a dung fly, but whatever it is, the fish like it, which is all that matters. There's an olive variation tied with hare's ear dubbing. Well, we'll go down the river and give it a go. Anyway, tight lines.